The subject matter for discussion in this session is equanimity. When Divyanandaprana was explaining about the first steps, she has mentioned about this samatvam, that is equanimity. Gita, the greatest contribution of Gita is, one of the important contribution of Gita is this equanimity. The definition they give to equanimity is siddhya siddhoho samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. You remember in the Sankhya Yoga, when Sri Krishna was explaining about how to perform this karma yoga, Siddhya asiddhyoho means what? Success or failure. From the very beginning, he was explaining the world, it is full of dualities. If you live in the world, you must accept the dualities also. There is sukha, there is dukkha, isn't it? There is sorrows and also there are joys, happiness. Sukha dukkhe samay kritva labha labho jaya jayo. So he gives, all the dualities are there in the world. But a yogi, a karma yogi, or any step towards your divinity, first and foremost is you must develop this equanimity. Look upon them, the dualities of the world. The mood must be, the mental attitude towards it, it should develop equanimity. What happens in us, when we are full of sorrow, the sense of depression, nowadays, this attack of depression is one of the greatest diseases of the world, isn't it? She is suffering from depression, no cause for any disease, but still they are suffering. Depression goes so deep. It brings actually the greatest tragedy in the human life, isn't it? Another thing is when we get some happiness, that overjoy, just jumping and laughing and expressing our happiness. But if you live in the world, you must face the dualities. How will you face it, Rise above. These things come and go. They are passing phases in the life. Isn't it? You must accept both. If you feel happy with joys and happiness and all that, very good. You must ready to open your eyes to accept sorrows also. Because both come. They are nothing but the two sides of the same coin. Live in the world. The worldly life is full of these dualities. Dualities, they are actually the pattern of this worldly life. You can't accept one and you don't want to accept another one. You can't do it. You have to accept both. How to accept both? Rise a little above. If you go higher levels of your mind, then you look, both are nothing to you, isn't it? Just remember when you were very young, if you break a doll, or if something happened to the dolls or something very, very small things, that used to cause tremendous sorrow. Isn't it? For a child, it is the cause of tremendous sorrow. At the same time, if you get something the same way, so it will be very happy. But if you are a grown-up person, you laugh at them. It is nothing, isn't it? It is nothing. When in the Gita I was explaining in the morning, when Arjuna, after he finished his first chapter, he said, I am not going to fight. So he gave up all his, that Gandiva, that big his bow and arrows and everything. And then he said, no, I am not going to fight now. the second chapter, it starts with this, you will see. Tam tata krupaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidam idamakyam uvacha madhusudanaha. Sri Krishna, when he began to talk to him, smilingly, he smiled at his Vishada. Arjuna was so full of sorrow, isn't it? He came to fight, the war was about to start, and he said, no, I cannot. Because at that time, that facing the battle was such a big problem for him, he gave up the whole attempt, and Sri Krishna smiled at his sorrow, Vishadam, sorrow. Why? He knew it is nothing. It is due to ignorance only he is feeling, he is sorrowing. And he gave a big lecture about justifying his own self and everything. But justifying at the same time, his attitude, his body was burning. Sidanti mama gatrani, vepatuscha sharire me. All these signs, they are not the signs of joy or happiness. But he was telling outwardly that, it is injustice to fight with my own relatives and all that. So these are very, very contradictory words. So Arjuna smiled. When we feel disturbed by the dualities of the world, then we must understand we are living in the world. We are living very near to the sea, So the sea waves, they will come and dash. It is very natural when you are living there. You live in a forest. Can you be afraid of these tigers and snakes and all that? Because you are living in a forest only. So it is very natural for you to face all these fierce animals. So you must understand the situation correctly. We are born in this world. We are living in this world. The people, who live, they have this nature. The dualities are the nature. This is the common factors. This is the pattern of the worldly life. So rise a little above these things, when you go into the sea, at first, these waves, they come and they rise high waves and all that. But with greatest effort, if you just go a little far away, a long distance into the sea, then the sea is calm. The waves will not trouble you at all then. Isn't it? When you even take a boat and go into the sea, you will experience this. So the thing is, equanimity. Unless you practice little equanimity, you cannot live in this world peacefully. So these sorrows and joys, they are very, very common factors in the worldly life. They come and go. So what is samatvam? Gita defines samatvam as it is siddhya asiddhyo samo bhutva. Success and failure, happiness and sorrows, all these things, you must view in a very, very, very equal manner, Yes, when great joy and glory, what next? Some great sorrows, some failures. The entire world will not appreciate you. There are some who can criticize you also. So both you must accept. If you see the life of Holy Mother, who lived in the world, purposely she lived in the world. I don't know how far you are familiar with the life of Holy Mother, the divine consort of Sri Ramakrishna. She lived in the world, Sri Ramakrishna did not live in the world. He always lived, most of his time he spent in the temple, surrounded by the devotees. And he used to be always in samadhi. Whereas Mother, lived in the world, surrounded by her relatives who are so self-centered. But in the midst of all that, how calm. How she practiced this equanimity? They used to scold her, they used to actually criticize her, they used to say all sorts of things against her. But in the midst of that, she used to keep quiet and say, oh, if I get angry, then who is there to protect you? So whenever you say so many words against me, I just think, oh, they are all only words. Why should I care for them? They are all worldly people. They live in the world. They will say things. Just imagine when she lived in Kamarpukur after the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna. What dire poverty. Actually, she didn't tell to anyone her difficulties. Because Sri Ramakrishna, before he passed away, when mother was with him in Dakshineshwari, he had told her, depend entirely on the divine, depend entirely on God. After me, you go to Kamarpukur, you live there, and never touch your hands, ask nothing from anyone. Whatever that he gives, with that only you must live. Really, with such dire poverty, she could not buy salt. Just imagine. There was some paddy, and she used to make it into rice, and just boiling the rice, no salt. Sometimes she herself used to grow some greens, and boiling them, that is all her food. And in the night, there used to be, because she had no money, she could not even purchase little oil. The temple people, they paid 7 rupees for Sri Ramakrishna as salary, So they granted it to her. But some of her own relatives of Sri Ramakrishna himself, they anyhow didn't want that this money should go to mother. So somehow or other, they conspired to stop it, and it was stopped. It seems even Narendranath tried, Vivekananda, the future Vivekananda, he tried to get that money, but he also failed. But she never bothered. Who wants money? When he is no more, where is the need for money and all that? So she lived there with such complete contentment, Even when Sri Ramakrishna was there in the temple, she was with him. She was in a room called Nahabat, a music, every day for the deity, there used to be some music played. Isn't it? That is called Nahabat there. So in one of the downstairs room, mother lived so near to him. But sometimes, for 2 months, she could not even have a glimpse of Sri Ramakrishna. Not even a glimpse, Usually she used to take, after cooking, she used to take his food herself and go and sit near him and feed him. Because always his mind was so in such high level, but she used to sit near him and talk to him some this thing and that thing, so bring the mind to a lower level so that he can eat. At least once he can eat, his body will remain for some more time in the world. So she took care of it. But later when the devotees, even the women devotees came, many, so they wanted to carry the food. She gave it. She never demanded it is my right. No. She gave it. So many times herself, whenever they asked, immediately she gave it with no murmur. Santapa vilapa rahitam. In the morning, she defined this titiksha, forbearance. So she practiced it. You can see in her life. If you see a living example, then we can learn it very quickly. So when she could not even have a glimpse of Sri Ramakrishna for months together, do you know how she used to console her mind? Oh mind, have you done tapasya for so many years that you will see him daily? You be contented. You are serving him, you are near him, that is more than enough. So she used to say, in spite of all the difficulties in Dakshineshwar, she used to say in my heart, a bliss, Anandir Ghat, a vessel full of bliss has been placed in my heart, I used to feel. So see the circumstances, a small little room, that room was her everything. That room was actually her living room, her bedroom, her kitchen, her shrine. There is no water facilities, no not at all. Early in the morning at 3:30 somehow or other she used to manage to take bath in the Ganges, finished. She had to wait till 1, 2 like that, when the entire place became vacated, she had some occasion to some privacy, Otherwise the whole, it is a temple, public place. So how much she is to suffer, but she says, a vessel full of bliss was placed in my heart. Look at the equanimity, She could never find a fault in anyone. Never. Later, when if anybody says what has happened, then they used to get angry with mother and say, what is the use of telling you? You cannot find any fault with anyone. She prayed, she prayed to, when he was in Vrindavan, she used to pray to that, the main deity of Vrindavan, Banku Bihari, an image of Sri Krishna, Oh, Lord, your body is a little bent. Banku Bihari, he stands in a position of playing on the flute, a little bent. His body is little bent, isn't it? Your body is bent, but your mind is straight. Make my mind also straight like that. She used to pray. She used to pray in the night, sitting for japa meditation. She used to look at the moon and pray. You have a little stain in it, isn't it? We see sometimes a faint stain, but make my mind completely stainless, so that I cannot see any fault in anyone. It is human to err. It is divine to forgive, isn't it? So she never found any fault. People used to come. So many people went and did pranam, touching her feet. Sometimes she used to get such burning sensation. She used to wash her feet again and again and again with Ganges water. In a cold season, when she was washing again and again, and she had very severe rheumatic pain in her knees and the feet and all that. So somebody was telling her, why do you wash your feet so many times with the cold water? Don't do it. That is why your rheumatic pain is not at all actually getting well. She said, what to do? So many people can touch my feet. I feel such burning sensation. I had to pour again and again and again this Ganges water. Then only I feel a little relieved. What to do? But she never prevented anyone. Never prevented. Sometimes her doorkeeper, Swami Sharadananda Maharaj, he used to put some barricade and prevent people coming and touching her feet. But she used to say, what do you mean? We have come for this. We have to accept the sins and sorrows of all. If we do not do it, who else can do it? Who else can take and digest everything? In such way, she is, who is Sharadananda, who is Sharat Maharaj, that he will prevent this? And we have come for that. Do you mean to say Sri Ramakrishna came, Thakur came only to take Rasagollas and nothing else? No, it is our duty. We have to do this. If the people, out of their own guilty consciousness, sometimes they used to sit outside the door and they used to say, Mother, I am such a great sinner, I can't even, I don't feel, I feel so afraid. I feel so guilty to enter your room. I am not fit enough. A lady, when she was weeping like this, she went outside and clasped her, brought her inside. Dear daughter, you have realized